At Ridgecrest Animal Control, a German Shepherd had refused food for 23 agonizing days. Hope was fading. Then, on day 24, a volunteer named Claire defied warnings. She walked into his kennel, a quiet act of rebellion, and simply sat down. What unfolded next, captured by a security camera, moved hardened staff to tears. It was a moment of profound, quiet grace. His name was Rex, an 85-pound German Shepherd, though he weighed far less when he arrived at Ridgecrest. He was found by the side of Millbrook Road late one Thursday evening, alone and without identification. When officers approached, he didn't run or growl. There was no fight left in him. He simply sat in the dark, still and utterly resigned, his once vibrant black and tan coat dull, eyes sunken, like a dog who had stopped expecting anything good from the world. At the facility, he was placed in Kennel 7. Intake notes recorded his severely underweight condition, but one officer added a poignant line by hand. "He looks like he's already gone somewhere else." A profound sorrow seemed to emanate from his being. They offered Rex food that first night, a bowl of kibble. He didn't touch it. By the second morning, the bowl remained untouched, a stark symbol of his internal battle. As days turned into a week, then 10 days, the dedicated staff tried everything imaginable. Different premium foods, enticing wet food, boiled chicken and rice, even quieter rooms and gentle coaxing from their most experienced handlers. Nothing worked. On day 10, the veterinarian conducted a thorough exam. The results were clear. No illness, no injury, no physical reason for his refusal to eat. "Acute grief response," she stated softly. "Something broke in him, profoundly. He's shutting down, and no medicine can fix what he lost." The staff felt helplessness, a heavy weight in the silence of his kennel, each uneaten meal a new blow. By day 20, Rex had stopped standing when staff entered his kennel. He simply lay against the far wall, a shadow of his former self, his breathing slow and shallow. His eyes, once bright, would track movement, but registered no connection, no interest in the world outside his despair. His strong body seemed to exist, a vessel emptied of purpose. The facility had a difficult protocol for situations like this, a final act of compassion no one wanted to make. But day 23 had passed, and still the food bowl remained full. The hushed whispers of staff around Kennel 7 grew heavier. Time was running out for Rex, and the weight of that grim reality pressed down on everyone at Ridgecrest, a shared burden of quiet despair and helplessness. Her name was Claire, 24, working part-time at a local garden center and dedicating her Saturdays to volunteering at Ridgecrest. Staff knew her for her quiet demeanor. She never rushed an animal, always spoke in a soft murmur, and patiently waited for a dog to approach her first. This Saturday, facility manager Frank intercepted her, a hand on her arm, a worried crease in his brow. "Don't go to 7 today, Claire," he urged, his voice low, a clear plea in his tone. "He's truly not in a good place, and we don't want to disturb him further." Claire listened intently as Frank recounted Rex's heartbreaking story, the abandonment, the refusal to eat, the vet's somber assessment, and the looming, difficult protocol. Without a word, her expression resolute and unyielding, she walked purposefully toward Kennel 7. Frank let out a muted sigh, a mixture of exasperation and concern, but Claire was already inside. She didn't approach Rex. Instead, she left the gate ajar and sat down against the opposite wall, her back to the cool concrete, knees drawn up, hands resting in her lap. She didn't speak a word. She didn't reach out. She simply sat there, sharing the same space, present, far enough to make no demands on his fragile state. Rex didn't move. His head remained down, chin on the floor, eyes fixed on her from across the kennel. He watched her the way broken things watch, not with hope, but with a faint, automatic attention, a flicker of awareness in the profound stillness. For the staff watching from the corridor window, the scene was almost painful in its quiet intensity. Two beings in a stark concrete room, one choosing to stay without being asked, the other too utterly exhausted to comprehend what that unwavering presence might mean. Claire remained like that for 40 minutes, a silent sentinel of hope. Then she quietly rose, and left. She refilled Rex's bowl from a small bag she had brought, plain chicken and rice, placed it exactly where the previous one had been, and walked out without looking back. Frank was waiting, a mixture of skepticism and dawning curiosity in his eyes. "I'll be back tomorrow," Claire stated simply, her voice quiet but firm, a clear promise in her tone. Security footage from Kennel 7, reviewed at shift's end, revealed something no one had seen in 23 days. At 6:14 p.m., 40 minutes after Claire's quiet departure, Rex stirred. Slowly, almost painfully, he pushed himself up, his large frame unsteady, a tremor in his tired legs. He walked with a hesitant, almost shuffling gait to the bowl Claire had refilled, and then he ate. It was a single, careful bite, the soft sound echoing, then another, a fragile spark of life returning to eyes that had been so dull and vacant. Staff watched in stunned silence, a shared gasp of relief, tears welling, a glimmer of hope, long extinguished, had finally broken through the darkness. Claire's routine became a consistent anchor in Rex's shattered world. Every afternoon, she would arrive, placing the chicken and rice, then settling into her familiar spot against the far wall. She offered no grand gestures, no overt coaxing, just her unwavering presence, a quiet promise repeated daily. By the end of that first week, a subtle but profound shift occurred. When Claire's soft footsteps echoed in the hallway, Rex would slowly lift his head, a tremor in his ears, a flicker of recognition. Soon he was standing at the side of her, a faint, imperceptible whimper escaping him, a sound no one had heard in weeks. The staff, watching from a distance, saw the first fragile signs of life returning to his eyes. As the days melted into weeks, Claire's consistency began to mend Rex's invisible wounds. His appetite returned fully, his gaunt frame filling out, regaining German Shepherd strength. By the second week, he didn't just stand. He would walk to the gate, his tail offering a tentative wag before Claire even opened it. Then, on the 14th day of her consistent visits, something profound occurred. Claire sat down, as always, but this time, Rex didn't stay across the kennel. He slowly walked across the concrete floor, turned a circle, and lay down beside her, his head resting gently on her thigh. It was a silent, powerful declaration of trust, an acceptance of her unwavering presence. The staff, watching, marked the whiteboard outside Kennel 7 with a triumphant check mark, a symbol of a life reclaimed and a spirit reawakened. Rex's story reminds us that unwavering presence and quiet love can heal the deepest wounds. If this tale resonated, please like and share this video. For more inspiring stories of rescue, loyalty, and second chances, subscribe to Snug Tales and ring the notification bell. Your support helps us celebrate amazing animals like Rex.